Let me know when it's good. Okay, let's call this meeting to order at 5:54, please. We'll start at roll call. Vivian?
Present. Are you gonna like secretary first or like nominate?
No, we have the roll call, then we do the watch.
someone?
Vivian's here. Jessica,
Here,
I'm here. Francisco is not here. Clary,
I'm here.
Alexander's not here, and Madeline.
I'm here.
Okay, Alexander's not gonna be doing this probably for a while, maybe ever, because she had her baby. So we need to,
Had the baby?
did she have a baby? I think she did.
No,
You just said.
You just said that, but did you?
you said she had the baby.
I don't know. I
think
just
she had it.
there.
No, I don't think.
There's
she
a
had
baby
it.
somewhere. Inside or outside.
She's having a baby,
Yeah.
or will soon be having a baby. So, she's not here with us right now. So we have to elect someone to do secretarial works for the night tonight. It cannot be me or Vivian. So one of the three of you like to volunteer, or do I need to pick somebody?
I cannot do it. I don't know what my schedule is gonna be, and I don't know with this knee if I'll even be here.
You two.
You want my Spanish English? And those notes. I could try. I make them, I make them.
You don't want to do it, do you? It's pretty obvious. All right.
I make notes.
Are you volunteering, Claire?
I volunteer.
All right.
Today.
I nominate Clary to be our temporary administrative assistant.
Okay.
I second.
All those in favor?
I,
Passes. All right. Any deferrals, additions, or deletions for today? Anything you want to add, you want to take out? What?
I would like to add, special needs safety program workshop.
Okay. That would be new?
Yeah.
Okay, the meeting.
workshop,
Anyone else want to add anything else? You know what? I will, no, I don't have to do it. I'll do it under announcements, so that's fine.
And this is added into
new business.
New business. All right, I motion to add that, the special needs safety program workshop to new business under item B. All those in favor?
I,
Motion passes. Okay, let's take to the public comment section. We have some guests here today.
I have an announcement and it's important, so.
She's firing all of us, so.
No.
I said, I knew it was over. Go
No,
ahead.
I just
Well,
have,
yeah, it's both.
yeah, I have a message for you guys, from Mr. Peterman. He wanted me to update you guys in regards to, I guess, a report to council that you guys are due for and haven't been able to, get done. He spoke to Councilwoman Ruano and she's asking that we extend the November, committee report, like open it to you guys. So in order to get that done, I'll just remind you guys, you have to approve it, I guess, at today's meeting. That would be it, so that you fall within the deadline for the November council meeting. Which, as a reminder, I know you guys all know, but we need the memo from the chair, the minutes where you approve it, and the actual document. It sounds like it's a budget that you guys are due for, that you're gonna give a breakdown for. So it would be those three attachments that you would need to
When will it
get
be
to
due?
Gabby by your deadline.
today,
Well, the third, the deadline for, yeah, so the council meeting takes place November 14th. So the deadline is November 3rd.
Okay, good. But I've
but
got-
you said something about we have to vote for it today.
Well, yeah, so that, I'm assuming so that you fall within the deadline, because I don't know when you guys meet again in November.
Like the
The
first,
first week, the first Wednesday.
I think it's like literally the first.
So the deadline is in November 3rd.
Oh, yeah, so the first
That's perfect.
Wednesday is November 1st.
And the deadline's November 3rd.
November
Yeah,
3rd, right?
so,
Okay,
but
good.
then that only gives your secretary 2 days to turn in minutes, which may not be ideal, so just something to think about, but up to you guys,
It's
I
the
guess.
minutes for that,
It's
the minutes for this
wherever
meeting, right?
Wherever
It's
it's
approved.
So if we vote to approve that we're going, or do we vote to
No,
approve
no.
what we've written?
You're approving what you as a chair will present on behalf of special needs.
So that would have to take place next month, next month.
Didn't we already approve the drawing?
We did, except for one thing, we have to make the adjustments to the budgets that they made adjustments to, because they made adjustments to what we had already adjusted, remember? Or did you all forget about that? Because remember, we had moved money into a budget because there was no money in there, because they pulled all the money out to pay for the programs, and then they came back and then they put the money back into that, and they took it out of the programs, and then we didn't move anything. So now we have to do it all over. I have to do it.
Yeah, well, we can. Well, we could. I don't, right now, I don't think any of us.
You should have, the last page of the agenda, the current there, yeah.
I didn't think.
Okay, so is this completely correct?
That's as of this morning. 10:05. Oh, okay, you were telling me, I was like, yeah, I think.
Okay. So for generic states. What we had originally agreed to do was to take the 9330, because that's in a budget item that doesn't belong by itself. And move it to social and recreational events because it was low. That's what we all agreed to do. You guys still agree to do that?
Social and recreation, no, it's at 10,000, no.
No, and that's grant and aid. Oh, wait, I'm reading they're available, not revised.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right. You're good.
So we
It's
still
available.
agree.
You're right, you're right. I was
We
like,
still want to move the 9330 to social and recreation so that we can bump that one up. That was the only thing that we wanted to do, because that was a line created because they gave the money back to us that we got compensated for, to get Gabby's paycheck covered by the city.
no.
Didn't
we need to do a
Didn't we break
breakdown?
down?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the events.
All that
this
stuff
month
still
have-
exists, but we had to, I have all that. So we have all that broken down in the one that I submitted to Gabby that we were gonna present, that we haven't presented. But when the only thing was in that budget, the only change was that we needed to move the 9330 because we got that back. It wasn't in our budget, and we needed to add it to where we were gonna move it to. And I think we said we were gonna move it completely into that budget, and then the other ones were broken down based on what we were gonna be spending. Because those were the two ones that the programs and recreation were the two that we spend the most money on. Of course, it doesn't really matter. We can always move it around again later. It's plus we have a 20, whatever, 25 or more $1,000 check coming in November. From the gala, so we don't. We have a presentation in February that we would have to do where we would reapprove the next round of budgets anyway, which is gonna include the new one, which we're gonna have to figure out that one by January, so.
But the actual report,
I wrote the report. I think it's complete unless we want to include anything else in it. I don't know that.
That he already submitted to you, right, Gabby?
yes, I have, everything was ready.
Okay.
The only thing was that the manager said they couldn't go in
Right.
September.
Yeah, I remember.
So. Of course, I mean, now you have the 9,330 that you have to kind of like reallocate since. The number changed for social recreation since they took the dance classes out of community programs. Which was where it was supposed to be taken out from originally.
Right. That's what was
So-
missing, because we were negative on that account, remember? Because it was in the wrong one. So as long as everybody's still good with that, then when we come back in November, what we've already done has been approved. And the only minutes that we'll have to submit would be the minutes of that meeting, which as long as if Alexandra's back or not, or if Clary continues, then essentially whatever we do that meeting, the next day, just type up the meeting minutes and send it over, because that's all there is to it. We approved that we approved it. Or we can approve it right now if you want. I don't mind that too, but you don't have a copy of it in front of you because I wasn't prepared to do that.
But I think she has it in
Also,
email.
I do, I know, I can print it. The
You wanna
only thing
print
is that to
You have
also
to.
keep in mind. Well, yeah, you guys have a little bit less than an hour. But if you wanna, I can go get it. for you.
You guys wanna go over it right now?
Hold on, she hasn't.
Yes,
let her
the
finish.
other thing is, you have to decide all your events for the year.
That's not true. That is not true. I'm sorry, that's not true, because that's not what we discussed last night at the chairperson's meeting. What they said was they recommended that we decide to do that, and that mentioned the fact that we still have February's to report. Only thing we needed to have anything in for events would be for, if we're going in November and December and January, if we're gonna do anything major in those days, which we're not. The only thing we're doing is this art exhibit, which we don't even know if we have a room for. So we don't have to do that right now. We can do that at our next meeting. We could sit down and do a plan and calendar of everything we plan to do for 2024 that we present in February. Correct.
Do you know if they go now in November?
You guys are going up in November. I don't know, what the logistics are with you guys, because I know you guys are a little bit different in terms of how you work with your budget dollars, so I can't speak to that. But from the little I gather, it's that you guys were already supposed to determine where your funds were gonna be used. So it does sound like you guys were supposed to plan that out.
Mm-mm.
I believe council's been asking this for a while now, that you guys break down how you're gonna be using those funds.
Right.
But I don't, again, I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
It's just
They
my.
asked us, but we haven't been able to get on an agenda. We did it right after they asked us. We've had it done.
Okay, we have a temporary,
So if you haven't done it, that's what you would present, I guess, now in November. That's what you should be going up to
Right,
present.
because what we're gonna present,
Present.
what we're gonna present to them is the highlights of what we plan to do, not a schedule. of
No,
what
it's
is-
not, I'm
Oh,
not saying you
I
have
thought
to
you
have
said-
December 1st, you're doing this, and January 25th, you're doing this, not like that,
No, okay.
but just, we're
The
thinking of doing,
events.
yes, in general.
Yeah, because
Which I think we did already too. Remember how we went over?
that we did do, yes.
For the
Yeah.
most part, the only thing is, if it's a workshop, you have to say what exactly.
We don't know that yet.
It's,
We have to
Yeah,
actually
it's a
call
little bit
people, get
hard.
schedules. We can't do that. That's not how our board has ever worked, ever. Because we plan things on a long term, on a short term and long term basis. They're not consistent events like
4th of July.
4th of July, right? It's not a consistent thing. You can't keep it consistent because that's not how it works for these people. Sometimes they don't even show up. Sometimes they cancel on us and we have to cancel the event. What we had talked about was that we were gonna say, we're doing workshops. The workshops are of what they've always been, which is special needs information and special needs training. What they're gonna be is guests that we're gonna approve. Now, if they want to know every single person we approve, well, then they should sit down in the meeting here and talk with us about who they think they should approve. Because that's micromanaging of a terrible, terrible plan. We're supposed to know what we're doing here. That's what we're here for. I'm not yelling at you. And or you, Kyle. We were at this chair meeting last night, and that's the same thing I told the town manager when I was sitting there last night with him, which is you can't expect us to give you our entire full year's life's plan like it's gonna be, planned. If we're gonna do good work for this community, it has to be done the way that we're doing it. And it's not a 4th of July event that we do every single year, that we have the same people come, the same band, the same plan. That's not how we do it. We're doing workshops and that's what the whole purpose of the special needs board was, to educate the town and educate the people in the community and give back to the people in the community, not to be a bingo event every week. So I can give them that we're doing workshops. I cannot tell them what those workshops will be until we've called and verified that the people want to actually work with us. Because we have to pick what event, what's going to be, we have to pick who we think is going to be there. That's going to take 2 or 3 sessions of our meetings just to do that. And to present that by November, there's no way. I could do that by February. We could make that decision, we could get all that planned up by the February one, but not by November. The only thing we can present in November, if we're gonna present what we're presenting late, is gonna be what we've done, what our budget currently looks like without the gala money, and the art exhibit that we're doing. Maybe painting with a twist too. That's about it.
Okay, so my comment was referring to, I didn't know about this November. Like this slot that opened up, that happened now, this evening. Or this late afternoon. That's what I was told, if you would go in February, which I was given the option of, or telling you that you have the option of going in January or February, you could pick. The only problem is, would that change if they go now in November?
No, that's for the next, like, this is an exception. The November is an exception. And just to be very clear about that, the idea of, again, I don't know how things work with you guys, but in general, the idea of the committees going up twice a year is because you are planning well in advance for your events. We don't recommend that you do events such short notice anyways. So really it's for the benefit of the committee and for proper planning purposes that you start well in advance. I know you may not have all details a year in advance, that's absurd. But just so you have an idea of what you're looking at tentatively, so we can also help you promote your event and that you have a successful event. That's really the idea of presenting in advance. And back to whatever you're presenting in council, which is what I tell the committees that I work with, is you can provide as little or as much info as you want to council. But we highly suggest you give as much info as possible, as much detail as possible, so that your events or activities pass. Rather than then they come back, ask you questions, you're not prepared, and now you're delayed another month or another couple months till you're due to go up again. So that's really the recommendation from staff, is you provide and you're as ready as possible so that things go smoothly for you. Whether you decide to or not, because you're able to or not, that's up to you guys.
It's just like a lot of our, not events, but like partnerships, you know, or organizations come and approach us, oh, we want to partner with you to do this, or we have that, and, you know, those things come up. You know, and I would hate to lose an opportunity with a partner because, oh, well, I won't have an answer for 6 months.
Well, to answer that question, what Mr. Peterman said last night was anything in those items, whether it's a sponsorship or a partnership that we're starting on, we can now give to you, Gabby. And once we've voted on it, you can give it to Mr. Peterman and let him know, and he's gonna place those in his town manager reports when the meeting of council. That's
Well,
what he
if I
said.
may chime in there, that it's not exactly for everything. It's not for initiatives and activities. What he was talking about is for transferring dollars, so that doesn't delay you guys. So sometimes you have to go up just to transfer $800 from one line item to the other. So in order, instead of having to wait 6 months till your next report to council, staff will be adding it under manager's report, so he can just go up and do it on a monthly basis if needed.
For
So
the
you don't-
sponsorships.
It's not, I don't know what you refer to when you mean sponsorships. You don't have to get approval from council when it comes to sponsorships.
We had to before, or well, at least it's.
I think that depends on your program. You're talking about programming and partnering with a program. I'm talking about dollars.
Yeah,
When
no,
it
that's
comes
what we're
to
doing. We're
dollars,
donating the money to the,
well, no, that's different. That's you guys sponsoring. I mean, you guys receiving dollars. You don't have to go to council for that.
no, but when we give out.
That's a donation. from
That's
you
what we
guys.
were,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, was he
Okay.
said that if we want to, let's say. Gigi's decides to do another golfing event right here in downtown Miami Lakes, and we want to put $1,000 sponsorship on that. He said, rather than us making that vote and then having to wait 6 months to go to council, that we could submit it to you and you would submit it to him and he would put it in the town manager report to let them know that's what we're doing.
But
because it's a
I think
sponsorship.
when it's donation, and what we could do is double check with him and maybe have him put it in writing so we can all be on the same page about it. But my understanding is that's for transfer of dollars, so you guys don't have to wait for transfers of dollars. I don't believe that has to do with donations,
that
so
would be
that's like
nice.
presenting a new activity.
Yeah, well, that's would be nice, because what the last time we tried to do a donation to Gigi's, we had to go to council to tell them about it, which we've never done.
Yeah, that sounds appropriate though.
Wasn't it above 700?
Yeah, well, it's always a cost.
But we're talking about internal moving of funds. The manager will do that for you under manager's report, no problem at all. When it comes to donation and you guys now partnering with an outside organization, that sounds like it needs to go to council, yes, but we can get, you know, an email from town manager or
Yeah,
whoever.
we should get that
To make sure
clarified.
that you guys are on the same page.
That.
Unless we've already done it, right? Then it's something
Yeah, if
that's been
any-
already previously.
Yeah, you guys
approved,
are
so we
going
don't
to
have go-
council for new things.
Exactly.
Is what it is. So if it's never happened before, and also to be very clear, because I've had this happen. Sometimes the donations are one-off, like, oh, for this year, we have X amount of dollars that we want to use for this, like, you have to, that's why it's so important to give those details to council, like, are we talking about a yearly going on basis, or are we talking about just this one-time donation this year? So I think those are the things that I would suggest you're clear on when you make that presentation.
Even though that's a little sometimes hard, because let's say like maybe an event is going on this year, but that same event might not happen next year, so it's a little bit.
I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah, but if, I guess if you guys are looking at it as a long-term kind of commitment, I would just agree that it's every year, and if it doesn't happen for the year, I feel like you're fine.
Okay.
It would be worse to say it's gonna be 1 year and then the next year you think that you're just gonna go and not ask council, like, I would be very clear about that with them.
I say the easiest thing for us to do is from now on, every sponsorship we do towards someone else, we submit it to town manager for him to submit. If you guys hear a bounce back from them that we have to go before council for that, that's when we need to hear something about it. Because as far as I am concerned, that's how we've been operating well before we had this gigantic stop sign put in front of us, which was really weird because our budget is not, tax money budget. We're allowed to manipulate and maneuver it how we want to based on what the board's decision is. That's the reason why we're on a board. As far as partnerships, when a partner comes in and wants to do something like Arts for Autism, wants to expand or wants to grow, that's kind of stuff happens in the middle of the year. It may not hit that time that we have designated to go in. Peterman said that we could contact someone that has a meeting scheduled for that month and see if they'll switch with us if we want to do a full report. Or if we want to do an individual report, I can contact one of our council members and say, listen, we have XYZ came in, they think they can put this great event together, or not event, program together, because our programs are 6 to 8 month programs or a year programs. And they want to present to council, Josh or Tony, can you put us on this coming meetings agenda? And if they say yes, then we just go up and we present that specific thing we're working on. And that's it. It's not a report about everything else we're working on. It's not adjustment for budget. It's to show them that we have a new person involved that wants to start a new program. And then it goes the same process that all of ours has gone, which is we meet the council, they talk about it, then it goes to Parks does the negotiation, and then so on and so on, as Animation and Dojo have done. Other than that, I really believe that the reports should be high level about what we're doing, but I don't know. So then if this meeting is November, do we want to approve the current one that we already did from the previous time, or do we need to adjust it in some way?
I think we need to adjust it.
So then we need to wait till November to do everything. The only thing that would be a rush would be, Clary, if you do minutes, not from this meeting, but from that meeting, we have to have them typed up and sent to Gabby by the next day, so they can be sent to council for the meeting, which is like a week away or something. Is that okay?
The November one?
If you wind up doing the meeting notes that weekend, it would have to be typed up that next day. Instead of a leisure time, it had to type up immediately. So that Gabby can get it to council and it can be on the agenda and they can approve that meeting that we approved our published our report. That way we can go to council and report. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, but I don't know, like next meeting.
Well, if you're not here, then it won't be you, it'll be whoever. Is everybody okay with anyone doing that? Okay, then let's go ahead and make a decision to, I'll make the edits to the one that I already wrote. I'll make the edits to our budget, make sure everything's lined up. I'll bring it soon. We'll give it to Gabby and we can review it here next week, next Monday.
Okay,
Next month.
I would like to add something. On August 2nd, on July 12th, we voted on the list of events. So that's on our July 12th meeting minutes. It's in there. However, on August 2nd, event calendar budget was motion to increase, we moved the council with edits for September. And that's the one we missed.
That's the one that.
And that's now due November.
Because you were really supposed to go in July, I believe it was.
Yeah. Which I don't think we even knew.
Because you guys are supposed to go in February, but then that didn't happen, so then you went in April. So.
That, and we haven't had a budget that's been accurate for months. That's not been our fault. I'm glad that it's been finally fixed.
So far what I can read is the council report that we were going to submit September is what now will be submitted in November.
Incorrect.
Incorrect?
No, sorry. Yeah, correct.
Okay, and then the list of events was on 7/12 to help you out.
I'll put the list of events in, but it's again high level. I don't mind
So,
putting it in there.
I have this, but I don't know which is the correct list of events.
That's what you got.
There's this, ignore the dates because, but
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Okay, this is correct, but not up to date.
this one was from July, the other one I really.
This one's correct.
I have copies, I have to look at it. but
This up one up
unless
front
you wanna
here,
save it for next.
this one up front is not the right one. This one is. This is the one that we were gonna present. See how it just shows. Gigi's cooking, inclusive playing with a twist, a SNAB workshop. Yeah, this is it. These were the plans when we agreed on. This was the one that the list that we agreed on. We just needed a fine
You
tune.
already
I
put it on.
don't think so. Is it?
I believe we put it in October.
Yeah, it's in October. So we have to update it.
We have put it for October.
So I'll have to update this completely. And are you gonna do the art exhibit in November or December?
I don't know. Did you get an email about
The,
room?
yes, so I looked and it's available. The only thing that you would need to ask council and they need to approve it.
So that's why it's gonna be in the November one.
Oh, we're not gonna be able to do it in November
You wanna do it in December then?
because.
That's 3 days
The
before.
December's not good.
So then we're gonna do it
It's
in
gonna have to be pushed to next year,
next year.
but at least we'll get it approved.
What month next year, you have any idea? We're doing it looking at it for October.
I liked it in October because it's like disability awareness month.
Then let's leave it in October and just plan for it for next year. We can do a big haboo about it. So then. This is what we're gonna present, I mean, with the modifications that need to be made, making it proper. To tell them that these are the events we're gonna do, but they are not broken down, so like if the. Council says, what's the SNAB workshop? Well, that's our planned workshop that we haven't finished developing yet. You asked what we were gonna do, this is what we're gonna do. But we still have to sit down and write down each one of these things, and we only can do that in 30 minutes. It's not gonna happen. Even next hour, next month is gonna be an hour and a half. It's still not enough.
No, we still have to finish the committee report and vote on that, which we, again, you
But
said,
that is part of the committee report.
yeah, it's part of it, but we still don't have,
Well, the
we
good
still have
thing-
to come back and look at the committee report with that.
The good thing is that we have what we have here and I can make the edits to it and we'll have that fully ready by the time we come to the committee or next committee meeting. And all I'll have to do is make any minor changes that you guys recommend. I don't think there should be much to change at all for that recording. So
All I wanted was the art exhibits be added, but if it's already on there, I really don't have anything to add. Unless, we're gonna talk about this workshop idea that I have.
yeah, I would say that would be
We can
something.
come up with different workshops that we've had, that we're probably gonna have again. And they can have an idea of the type of workshops that we do.
That
I think
that would
that's
be
what they are looking for.
Yeah.
They just don't want like, what exactly would it
Workshop.
be?
Exactly.
Just like an idea. It doesn't have to be, we're doing this exactly,
Oh,
but
Yes,
just
do
so they
like
can understand.
Behavior.
that would make it a lot easier because that would,
Yeah,
that,
I know. I know.
See why?
so then can we put a list together before next meeting of the ones we've done?
Yeah.
And then
You want this
just email it to me.
partnership one That we've done.
And also keep in mind, you're going now in November, but you're going back in January or February, which you guys can let me know today, if not,
February
February is better.
February.
Well, we don't meet.
which is the
December.
same one that you guys used to have.
That one, yeah, that one's normal.
And because I think that maybe the funds won't be allocated yet. So I
They
think our
won't
budget
until
will
like
be,
after March,
oh, it's after March. I thought it was, okay.
which I mean, you'll go then in July, which and you'll have that information, but
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think we leave it alone.
I'll double check. but I'm
February,
pretty sure it was July.
February and July is fine. I don't have a problem with either of those. I think they're good timings for us to do reports anyway. But give me a list of ones we've done before, so we can give an example in the report. I'll write it generically, like, here's what we've done before. And ones that we're thinking of doing, which includes your special needs, some special needs safety program workshop. That would be a workshop that would fall under our workshop time. That good? Is everybody okay with that?
Yes,
Thank you. I don't mean to make things hard on you, and I know sometimes it sounds like I'm yelling, but I'm not yelling at you. I'm frustrated with the council and the town because I feel like every time we start get going with something, it's like, oh, hang on, wait a minute, you can't do it this way. Wait a minute, we've been doing it that way for 4 or 5 years. Why is it all of a sudden a change? If that was gonna be the case, you should have came down and explained to us exactly what we're supposed to be doing, not you, them. What is it that our board is supposed to be doing? How are we supposed to be acting? Because no one has told us we were doing wrong. They told us to take your money and run with it. That was the word of the last council member that was in here. Take your money, do what you think is best for the community, and we'll leave you guys alone. And then all of a sudden, it's everything we do, you have to be accountable for. Okay, I don't mind being accountable, but now you're putting us in a position where we won't do anything. I don't want that. I want us to succeed. So I don't, it's not directed to you. You know that, right? She's not commenting, she's making me feel worse.
No. That's okay.
Okay, let's get to public comments. So we have some guests here. Sorry about that. I thought of the delay. Why don't you introduce yourselves so that Clary can get your information and put it down in our minutes and let us know what you'd like to say.
Okay, so my name is Liani Antello, and I own a 501c3 called Mindset Connect, which is basically an out-of-system education learning center. So we, by default, cater a lot to special needs because they don't fit in a box, you know, at the end of the day, not everybody is cookie cutter and not everybody fits in a regular school system. So we are part of the homeschool sector. And we service mainly the Miami Lakes community, a little bit outside too, but mainly Miami Lakes. We are in the same street as the Roberto Alonso. So I just wanted to introduce myself to all of you guys and see how I can help and work together, because I feel that the town isn't as connected to this portion of education. And again, since we service so many special needs kids, we have everything from autism to dyslexia, to Fragile X syndrome. So we do have a variety of children. My biggest, I want to say, hurdle that we have in our foundation is that we have to fund everything ourselves, because since we're out of system, we don't get that Title I money. And a lot of these families, yes, they get all these scholarships and they use them towards it, but it's not enough to cover everything that they need to do. So it's just servicing them and getting scholarships for them and just helping them in any way that we can. So they do everything from their core subjects to PE. And we have 19 varieties of electives, anything from life skills, from sewing, coding, robotics, woodshop, all of those different things. So they get to be in an inclusive classroom. Everybody's on an IEP, so they don't feel any different. They don't feel less than. It's a very big confidence booster. I've seen it with my own children. My daughter, for example, she was a full year behind, and I thought I was doing everything right, paying all these extra things, and it just wasn't working for her in system. So I decided to pull her out. And at this point, she's doing 2 grade levels in a year. She's thriving. And I've seen that time and time again. We've had kids who were barely verbal competing with anybody else. So they just feel like everybody else, a normal, or I should say typical, how we say, you know, child. And I love that about it. You know, we remove, you know, the label and we make it the able. It's like very big for us. So I think that this is a good home to kind of facilitate Mindset Connect and for you guys to know a little bit about us, because I think that's what you guys try to cater to.
what's the name of the business again?
Mindset Connect Foundation. Mindset, yeah.
What's
And-
your student?
I'm sorry, ages?
The ages is kindergarten through 12th grade.
Mindset Connect.
Mindset,
Mindset.
like a
Oh,
mindset, yeah.
What's your student to teacher ratio?
10 to 1. 10 to 1. We keep them small on purpose. Because since everybody is on an IEP and customized curriculum, we've found that over that they become a number, and that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. We want everybody to have their own program, but thrive in it, not just survive in it. You know, so we don't move forward until they get the concepts. You know, we fill those gaps. So it does cater to some kids who are typical but fell through the gaps in the pandemic as well. So we do have typical children as well, which is great for our special needs kids, because again, they're included, you know, and they feel one with their community.
Do you have any flyers or cards?
I
or-
do, I have a full website and everything. I don't have any flyers with me, but I can give you the website.
How
It's
many,
mindsetconnect.org.
how many students you have in school?
Right now, we have 63. We don't have more. We have we have 150 kids on the waiting list. We just don't have the funds to facilitate more for them at this moment.
Do you take the scholarship?
We take the step up for unique abilities, and then now DeSantis passed the PEP, personalized education plan, which falls for special needs or homeschool kids. So for those who don't have a diagnosis that falls under the unique abilities, they can use the PEP.
Not about a triple A
No,
scholarship?
it's all accepted, yeah.
And the PUP, is that for for home and private, or is it?
Home, it's only home education. You can't be in system. So you have to have your letter of intent to the state.
Got it.
And go from there. The reason why we started the in-system process and I stopped it because the point of the foundation is for you to be able to be in control of your education and fill all those blanks. So it doesn't mean they're not at state standard and that they're not following certain benchmarks that they need to go to, but at the same time, they can choose their curriculum. So for example, if there's a dyslexic child, we can get their entire curriculum printed in dyslexic font. You know, if a child is autistic and sensory and they just can't stand to see certain colors, or they just need everything bigger, we can print their curriculum that way. So it's very detailed to the person.
ABAs?
We allow ABAs, they don't have to be a part of our program. We love them. You know, any gaps that we have, they help us fill. So we have RBTs and ABAs, yes.
Paraprofessionals?
Mhm.
Very good. Any other questions, guys? Thank you.
So, wait, before, to make sure I understand.
Of course. It's a unique thing, so it's hard to understand.
So the student
Mhm.
will withdraw from Dade County Schools, Broward County School,
Or
whatever it is, and be set up as a homeschool.
Mhm.
But instead of the parent being homeschooled,
Mhm.
they come to your facility.
Exactly. So instead of, at one point in homeschool, there's a gap that needs to be filled with the parent. You know, let's say that they get my daughter, like she's already doing geometry. And yes, I can do geometry, but I have to relearn it. Instead, we have somebody who specializes in that and they can handle that. So it's basically like a tutoring situation where they customize and fill those gaps for every parent. And then there's a lot of parents who just cannot keep them at home because they have to work. So in order for them to be able to go do what they need to do, they're still getting their customized curriculum. It's just not the way that it's administered at a school. We don't have to do the FSA. We don't have to do any testing at all unless the parent chooses. And then that's on them to choose. So we can administer that test for them, but we don't by state law have to do that because we're considered the homeschool sector.
Now, you said you had 63 students currently.
Yes.
Are there more than, let's say, grade levels in one classroom?
Yes, we have multiple grade levels in the classroom because with special needs, sometimes they don't fit the bill exactly with their age. Either their mind is, you know, a little bit younger or older, or they work so much better with older kids because of the noise levels. There's some that, for example, we have a third grader who he cannot be with his grade level because they're a lot more rowdy, you know, and they like to play and he just likes everything very quiet. So he loves to be with the high school kids, you know, and that teacher is trained to facilitate for all of them. Most of them are certified RBTs as well, the teachers, so they understand both sides of it.
Certified teachers, correct?
Yes.
So when they get out of the school, let's say for example, they go to second, third, fourth grade, and then the parents decide to move it back to private, like
It's just a
public
piece of
school.
paper. It's just a piece of paper.
Just like a draft.
Yes, exactly the same. So the same way that they pass grades in regular school is the same way they pass grades in homeschool. A certified teacher that's not the teacher administering it to make sure there's no cheating going on. They come in, they check their entire, it's called a portfolio, and they go through everything to make sure they've accomplished everything needed for that grade level. And then it gets submitted to the state, the same way the kids in regular school get submitted to the state, and that's how they pass. So when, let's say they do that the whole way through, they still get a diploma, a high school diploma that's sealed and they can go to college. We had our first graduate last year who's starting a nursing program in UM.
So it's a regular diploma.
A high school diploma.
High school.
And what if the student's modified?
So if the student is modified, we have a bunch of different programs for them. We have a connection with Miami-Dade College. that they actually carry on their IEP over there. So they have different programs over there that they can help facilitate. We have another child that didn't go through our whole program, but did just, because we have 2 programs that we work. We have the 5 days that they come in and they do everything, or the children who cannot handle being in a typical situation, or they're just homeschoolers in the area, they can come on Fridays for our Friday program and they do just the electives, those life skills and electives that we talked about. So we had one that did that, and he's on the spectrum and he ended up going to Berry. It was very, very difficult, but we met with the counselors and we made sure that, you know, the IEP was in place and he's doing well. It took him a minute because change is hard for a lot of kids that are on the spectrum. So he went through it that first week and it was so hard to watch, but he's good.
How long is the waiting list?
We have 150 kids on it right now.
So
But you,
it could pass 1 year and then they don't get in.
Right now, yeah, there's a few that tried to get in for this year and we just could not. Just because of funding and space and that kind of stuff. Once we have a little bit more funding and backing, I think we can grow a little bit more, but I like to crawl before we can walk. So it's important for me to keep our principles intact, the 10-to-1 ratio. You know, yes, we can make a lot more money and let them in, but that's not the principle of the whole situation.
so your top is 63 right now,
Right now.
so
It's,
That's it for the year?
we can accept more, but we need to make sure that, again, the teacher is qualified and the right age group for the kid. So for example, in our high school, we have a few spots. That's why that number is 63. We have a few spots that are open. But we see typically in our program right now, the younger ones that are coming from the pandemic, that they're like getting diagnosed and they don't know what's going on, or if it's just a delay because they didn't learn something during that time. We have a lot of that
so that's what your waiting list is for the elementary
for the
level?
younger ones. Mhm. I want to say our largest enrollment by far is 4th grade, and that's 100% because of the FSA. You know, either they can't pass it, or they're going through it, or they're finding out their learning disabilities there. So 4th grade is always 3rd and 4th
Third.
grade is when you see it, you know, so
Third.
3rd grade, we started getting them towards the end of the year, which is not normal either. And then it blew up because all of those kids started telling each other. It's been word of mouth. We haven't really advertised.
And do you offer therapies there too?
We do. So let's say that most of them, when they're done with school, they're done. You know, so we'll have them come in and they'll do the therapies there, and we're okay with that. We really modify everything for the child. So if they need a minute and they need to get out and go to the classroom, if the RBT needs to walk them around the building because they just need a second to breathe, all of those things are okay for us.
And where are you located?
We're in the same street as the Roberto Alonso, we're in between the Roberto Alonso and Matter Lakes. Yes.
How much does it cost for one student to attend an entire school year?
$10,000 a year. It's $1,000 a month. So it's a lot. Right now, with our breakdown, keeping the numbers that way, paying the teachers and paying rent and everything together. So a lot of their scholarships, especially the ones on the spectrum, they'll cover that. But then they have their therapies that they have to pay out of pocket, which a lot of them are okay with it. But again, for those amazing families who just can't, you know, I would love to be able to sponsor some of them. You know, so that they don't have the means, or they need to use that full scholarship for therapies only. Because there are some kids that need more help than others. That would be my dreaming would be that, to be able to sponsor a few kids.
More questions, guys? Well, thank you for coming in and letting us know. We will definitely have you added to the directory list that we have on the website, so people recognize that you are servicing the community. And if we have any follow-up questions, we'll be in contact.
Awesome. The website is mindsetconnect.org in case any of you need it.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Are you both
She's
together?
separate, you know. Well, yes, but no.
Yeah, but no,
Okay,
supporter.
what's your name?
My name's Christina Machado. We spoke on the phone about my son
Yes.
like a month and a half ago.
Christina with a K or C, sorry.
PH.
GH.
RIST. So, I am kind of getting into the special needs because of my son. So we adopted my son at birth 21 months ago. And he started with epilepsy in like weeks old.
And so we just got diagnosed with autism at the end of July. And when I so proudly said his diagnosis to his daycare, they told me that they could not have him there because of his diagnosis. That they didn't have the ability to serve him with his needs. The same kid he was the day before his diagnosis. So yeah, so I got that rude awakening, which was really nice. And now I have a fire in me now. So I'm a nurse by trade, labor and delivery. And now I'm going into my master's program to get my BCBA because I want to open up a center in the area, preferably. I feel like there's a void here for those kids. Speaking to other people about it, it's happened to them that they get a diagnosis, and as soon as they mention it, they now no longer have a daycare, and they still have to work and they still have to do everything they have to do, but now their kid has nowhere to go. So I want to open up an ABA center here. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I'm kind of getting my footing. All of this kind of happened very quickly. The dream happened very quick because speaking more about it, I find more people that it's happened to. So I know that it's not an isolated incident. I know it's not an isolated incident in the daycare it happened in, and in daycares in the area. So it's kind of the precursor of early intervention being so important. Why isn't there not an ABA center on every corner the way that there's a daycare in every corner? Like, it's needed. There's children for it and there's a need for it. So
We were just talking about the statistics. 1 out of every 5 kids has some type of diagnosis
Yeah.
nowadays. So it's definitely something needed. That's why mindset's a thing, but we don't start until kindergarten, and early intervention is
it's
key.
key.
And I'm seeing that in mindset,
Yeah,
you know, because they don't get that early intervention and they're lost.
Mhm.
I
So-
think with APA, not everyone has Medicaid.
Mhm.
So now if you have a private insurance, will not cover ABA.
Mhm.
The private insurance are moving to helping those families, because now I notice that like, Victoria Blue has it, Oscar has it, and they're part of like, like regular insurance, medical insurance,
Mhm.
but not everybody knows.
So for my
So
my
this-
objective would be, like for me, if I'm able to afford regular daycare, because I was paying out of pocket my regular daycare, why can't that be a transitional, for somebody that wants to pay private or wants to pay like a daycare? Now I'm stuck. I have nowhere to stick my kid. Where do I put him? Because I'm not gonna not tell him I'm not gonna disclose his diagnosis. Like, I think that's essential. Like, I'm a nurse. If I come in to treat you, I need to know what you have. Like, I don't think, or what your behaviors, or the fact that he had very few to minimal behaviors to the point that I haven't been able to get him approved for an RBT. That's how minimal his behaviors are. And now he can't go to a regular daycare with other kids his age is, it's crazy. It's not, so I would like to be able to make it so it's an ABA center where there's a kid with RBT. And even if we're able to do, even not being diagnosed and just having any type of delay and stuff like that, and still be able to accept like a daycare for a parent that has their eyes open, a parent that feels like there might be a delay here, like, can we get some therapies early just in case, and still be able to intervene early without a diagnosis would be great, But
Yeah, my suggestion to you, I think, and I told this to you on the phone, but I would say the same thing here, is what is needed is a hybrid.
Yeah.
An ABA based daycare would be
which is what I want.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fabulous.
Yeah.
I think you can check, because there's one here in Miami Lakes, and it's called Little League.
Literally, yeah, they're ABA center only, and they accept certain insurances. I just discovered them recently. And they're a franchise too. They're a franchise, which is what kind of, for me, I feel like when you do things out of passion and out of personal, in my case, vendetta, but personal purpose, it's a very different outcome than being a franchise center for profit, type of thing. Like, it's very much a personal thing. I have parents that I spoke with that I had no idea that this happened to them too, and it's been years, and they are in tears telling me their story about how it happened.
And their kid is still not diagnosed, like they don't have a diagnosis. So it's more for a developmental delay that all of this occurred, you know, like it's just, it's not okay. And it's not okay for parents that are already going through it, because it's hard when you see a delay in your child. And you're already going through it, and then now you get kicked while you're down. And, you know, obviously, I know that it's not correct what happened, and I know, you know, there's so many roads I can take in order of coping with it.
Yeah,
And the road I decided was a career change.
so early step, the David School, Easter seals, can you look at those?
I have early steps for my son. We did early steps before he was a year old. I had seen the delays coming because of the seizures and all that. So even with his diagnosis, the neurologist wanted to push it back. And I'm like, no, let's go. Like, don't delay me. You're not on my team, or I find somebody else. Let's go. Like, so I had him diagnosed early, kind of pushing the neurologist, telling him, what else are we waiting for? Like, nothing has changed in 5 months that he's been with speech, with OT, with PT. Like,
I was saying that don't take a no for an answer.
yeah.
And you being in the medical field, like, you know how things go, you know, with approvals, and one person answer you and it will say no, then next day you call and somebody else answered and they say yes. So don't take a no for an answer. And as with the diagnosis of autism, he should be getting ABA. That's
Yeah.
no reason why he's not getting an ABA.
So now
If there's no
we're
such a
appealing.
mile
Well,
or.
that's, yeah, so for
there's
me,
not that.
I am not a person that takes no for an answer, it doesn't exist for me. So I already have the appeal process going, I already like, if I have to call the person that decided that decision and speak to them personally, like, I can.
Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
you know, the therapist,
Mhm.
how they put the
Yeah.
paper and, you know.
So
to
she's
make the
coming,
papers.
she's coming now, so we ended up putting him in a PPEC because of his asthma, he ended up getting RSV in June and then got diagnosed with asthma like in September from chronic cough. So we were able to like resolve the issue, but if it wasn't for that
Therapies
PPEC, what do I do? The only daycare that was, you know, I had 2 daycares that were willing to take him. One was out of the way, that it makes it very difficult, you know, when both parents work, to be able to travel an hour and a half outside of your area between traffic. And then the second one was like a $300 increase from a week of what we were paying prior. So we just can't afford that. So like, what do we do, you know?
Let me hop in here. We only got 15 minutes left.
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
Yes.
We're gonna have to continue, but, first thing, three things to note. Number one, what we had suggested, I think is a need in this community is a hybrid-based
Hybrid,
program. What we can do is try to reach out to some of our partners and see if we can find anyone that would be interested in doing some funding to help you put that together. If that's something you want to look into. If you don't want to do it independently or with a partner, then, that second thing I had mentioned to you was that the school SFAX is going to be building a daycare facility for special needs children, but it's only for autism, it's not for anything else. But that could be something that if you don't have the ability to start one on your own, but they will be needing people to run it, you might want to talk to them about it. And the third thing is what's some contact info again for you that we could put in the record so that we can reach back out to you and get you some information on any of the people we know that might have the ability to do some funding work with them.
Okay. So my phone number or?
We're being recorded. I don't know if you want to.
No, just
Okay, all right.
write it down. And hand it to me, I'll take care of it.
All right.
So thank you very much. Okay, let's jump into this really fast. So let's do a Gallup follow-up, guys. Oh wait, hold on, we have to do approval of the minutes.
Approval of minutes.
They go to the minutes. Set them on fire.
By the way, I have a solution for your minutes. If you record it and then you put it through chat GPT, you'll write it. And I'm not even kidding. We had the same situation and it worked. So in case you need it in a hurry, you can do that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
That looks good to me. I want to go for it. All those in favor?
I,
Motion passes. Okay, Gala follow-up. Everybody, the Gala was fantastic. We've looked over some things that we think we might want to adjust for next year. A overall high-level view so we can get off this subject is one, we want to see and talk to Miami Lakes Hotel. and see if we can't negotiate a free trade to get their ballroom. So we can expand this event into a much larger and much more sophisticated event than just doing it in the Robert Alonzo Center. Right now, the biggest complaint I hear from everybody that comes is they feel like they're gonna run into everybody and knock half the tables over because it's like this. That's the only complaint we have. Other than that, everything was very well. We had a fun time. We raised a lot of money. We did that. Facebook Live was amazing. And now I do have some people that were in the multimedia department of the town saying we wish we would have brought the studio equipment to do a real thing because they think it looked wonderful. They want to do that for next year. So hopefully that will actually happen. And we need to speak to Joseph sometime in the next year to get everything we need to know about how to do it. Because remember, this is going to be Manny's last year. And with that could be the last year of Joseph too. We don't know if he will continue or not. And if he doesn't continue, it will fall on us to do everything he did. Because the next manager may not want to do it. So I'm just letting you know that in advance. So we're gonna try, we're gonna work it out. See
Do
if
we
we
know
can-
how much we pay?
We don't know that. We won't know that.
Now we
until
want to
November.
present the check.
They got a lot to tally and other pieces of sales still haven't finished yet and
The good thing was that we had a $10,000 donor.
Okay.
The bad thing was a lot of the auction items did not sell.
our expenses went up. We
Yeah.
we had to pay for a lot more stuff than we usually do. So it may have evened out, or maybe just a little bit more than we normally get, which is fine with me. Any last points from anyone? Vivian, you want to say anything about the gala?
No.
Okay.
I do suggest, and this year was I got sick and everything with them, and so I couldn't get involved, but I do suggest for next year. Because I was in the Hialeah Gala, so, and it's nice to see the kids. I will suggest to do next year something with the kids. Even for example, like I had an idea, like I did talk to the cooking instructor because they could do like even desserts and then just serving the desserts, just like Shella had it and like a little table and then cook the desserts, make the desserts and be there, dressed like chef and then, kind of like give it to the people. I would suggest to do something with them. They don't have to be like 10 of them, and it could be just maybe 4. But I think it's great to have them in the gala.
I completely agree. And that's something that we did, like the first 2 galas. I don't remember if you were there. Yeah.
And
In the first one, we had adults attend the gala and they were dancing and it was great to watch, for people to get to know them and they also used to have somebody come up on the stage, like a mayor would have like a special guest that was who had like an inspirational story. I remember the attorney who has autism, I forget her name right now. But she came, then another year it was a basketball player from Barbara Gomez that he was like missing a leg or something. I don't, but that he would always have, and we've lost that.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I feel that you lost some of it because of the casino aspect. I think a lot of people think that it feels weird, like you're partying and you're having a nightclub. Right.
But didn't you have the alcohol?
The alcohol,
back in
you
then?
have the alcohol and
It's
everything.
adults. I mean, we're talking
Yeah, we're
about like
talking about-
special needs. They have 20, 24, 25-year-olds,
Yeah.
26-year-olds.
So you're not one
They're
of
not.
the younger ones.
No,
Okay.
they're adults.
Cause like what you did at your gala was beautiful, but there was no
They're
casino tables.
younger. They're younger. Or like, for example, the adults can do like that. They can be in the front of the gala and saying hello to, they can do like I would say, like a dessert and then just do like a really nice and dress like a chef and then serve the desserts.
They can just be guests.
They can be
Right.
just
They can
guests.
dance. They
They
wanna
can
be
enjoy the
Okay.
party, dress up like everybody else.
We can discuss that further when it comes closer in the next year.
No, we'll start it in January. We're gonna start planning for it in January, because we're gonna have this ready by the time that they come out. I want us to have it mostly planned before Joseph starts on it.
That's
totally
what you
agree.
can
Because I saw the pictures.
They're so yeah.
All right,
So
cool.
nice.
Well, and that's,
And then-
that's part of it, and Hialeah is part of the reason why we have to do it at 908 Hotel.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing if they're gonna do it, because they took it from us anyway. If they're gonna do it at Hialeah Casino Park, We have to have it somewhere big, and the only place big in this town is Miami Lakes, so we gotta partner with them, so I'm gonna work my butt off. To try and make some kind of a negotiation to get them to trade us the room for whatever we gotta do to make it. And Univita says they wanna come back every year, so we may have that sponsorship lined up every year if they want to be here. Dr. Orlando was very happy with what our board does, and he said he wants to be involved, even if we need assistance and anything else, let him know. All right, let's move on to the next one, cooking classes. Is everything going okay with that? I put it down, we never had a chance to talk to you, we want to know how it's going.
So we started the new program. It starts right now in October. So yes, like what we did last year was 1,200. And it was just, last year what we did is that we put them in the apron. It has the logo of the special need advisory board, and that's for the whole year. The whole program costs $11,000, but we get a sponsor that pays for that. And then for the food, like we buy every day, like every time we have a class, the food is fresh. So that's the money
We did
we
allocate you
donate.
money, didn't we?
Yeah,
Okay,
they're part of the.
I was gonna say, I was gonna make sure I wanted to make sure we did that, so we already allocated that and approved that, see, you got that covered.
Okay,
So I think you
So-
just need to make an input.
okay,
Yeah,
and send it to Gabby.
yeah, because we already did that, and that'll be part of what we present in November, letting them know that we did that, because we've already done that. So then, okay, good, so you'll get that, just make.
Would you like to make a motion just so we're safe?
Sure, what are we motioning? We're motioning that how much was the total? 1,200? And that's gonna come out of. If it's, out of,
Community programs?
would this be grants and aids? Because this is a sponsorship, not our own program, our own program.
it's.
This is grants and aids. So I motion that we are going to donate $1,200 from grants and aids to GG's for their cooking classes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. There you go. Just in case now is officially covered, and we'll put that in our report. Great. Special Needs Registry, Mr. Amador, thank you for being so patient. Any news and
No
updates?
worries, I have tons of things to talk about, so.
Great. You got 3 minutes.
No, I'm just kidding. No, we have another application.
Yay,
So that's
we're up to,
13. And I spoke to a few times to Pines PD, since everything kind of started with them. And I've now been giving them information on everything that happened with the bill, and they want to know how we're gonna modify the application. I already told them about the registry, we changed it to program, so a few things like that. So they're happy to know, but they did also say that they hadn't ran into the issue of people worried about being it public.
And now you can tell them it's not.
Yeah, right. Now you can still tell them it's not. So they haven't heard of people saying, oh, but what happens if something, but I'm sure. Even though they haven't been told, and that's what I told them, they won't necessarily tell you, but that's what they're thinking, some people. So now you can put it on, and what I want to do is I want to put it in front, make sure that it shows that it's exempt. They're exempt.
Are you the one that helped put that application together, or did we write it? Because I wasn't here for it.
I think the town was the main, right? Somebody from the town or
I know,
Yeah, turn-
the
the application.
that we,
Yeah, it was me and Claire, so,
but I think we looked it over too, no?
yeah. we
Oh,
looked
after.
over it, but-
The original writer of it.
Well, we
And the attorney
basically
looked at it.
took most of the one from Pembroke Pines
Uh-huh.
and like modified a few things and then the attorney had to look over it and he
So-
modified a few things and that took forever.
Do you want to take the existing one that we have now? Add what Mr. Amador says we need to add in there that specifies that this data is no longer being.
Made public.
Made public. It's just not made public in general, that according to state law, no one can sunshine request this information, so your information is safe. Can we add that and then send it over? Go through the chain, have it come back down to the new, with all the new wording, because I don't know if we printed the new ones yet. We have the new wording for special needs program and all that stuff.
Right.
That way we can make that all change in one and get the new applications ready to go. Can you handle taking care of that?
What's the new name?
Special needs safety program.
Because we have to change.
Yeah, I gotta
made some
change it up
changes
here.
on the website.
Did they?
And then the video. Well, not the audio, but
Yeah.
the title of the video.
Okay.
Special needs safety program. Yeah, yeah. Change it on your-
I know. We'll make it.
Anyone twist, go.
And I didn't ask them to make
Anyone
it.
just.
I remember I had, when we first.
Okay, guys.
Anyone twist?
We had like 20 something.
Yeah, see what
I was gonna say something about painting on the twins.
We're,
Okay,
just kind of application, we're.
I-
Do we do like a regular event when we do that?
we do the regular event. It's
At
a-
their location.
at their location.
And why not doing a fundraising?
This is to give back to the community. It's not a fundraiser.
There,
So to get back to the.
So what we could do is get a sponsorship if we
No,
want.
but like, for example, like. They do, like, for example, like you can open it as a fundraising for like people from outside, also like inclusion, other kids can come to the event. And then the money comes,
Then we
you know,
can't,
a donation.
but we
to
can't do
come
that
to the
because we have to do it for the people who are in the community. It has to be Miami Lakes residents. So,
Okay,
and that's why we do it. We host the event there for everyone from Miami Lakes.
Oh,
And we have the budget.
And we have the budget to
And
pay
then
for
you-
it. So we can get a sponsorship for it if we want to get the money back, but we can't do a fundraising event.
okay,
That's what the gala is for.
okay.
So I talked to them finally, got a hold of the new owner, his name's Pedro. And he gave me his phone number and he said that what they're doing is they charge $40 per person for everything that comes with the person. They will give you a discount to 37 if you have over 25 people. However, since we're a special needs board and we are part of the town, if you want, tell us how many people you want, how many people are gonna go there, and give us your budget and we'll work with you. What he said. He said, when you guys talk tonight, or whenever you guys are ready to make the decision, just come to us with what you have. We will work with you on it and try to make a finalized number. So it looks like the prices have gone up quite a bit.
But how much can you have in one class?
You can have up to 70 people in that room, up to 70 students.
And the same room that we had?
Yeah, it's 2 rooms
Right, in the whole place.
in the whole place. You can have
Okay.
up to 70.
35, there's no way it was 70.
No, you can have up to 70 total for the whole place, or as we did before, up to 35, 40 in one room.
$37 a piece.
It was, I think it was 29.
It was 25.
I thought it was 25.
It was 25 because it was like a smaller campus. It wasn't like the bigger campus, so I don't know.
He probably is charging for the bigger campus.
Right,
So,
yeah,
well-
because that's the regular prices, because I went on their website.
okay, good. So then
The
he
prices they
said,
gave you are regular prices.
then he said what we can do is negotiate with them on what we need. So what I think we should do is plan out what we want, how much we want, how many people we want to go, what we think we're gonna budget for it. Let me go to him and see if that's something they agree to. We have plenty of time to do this. We can do it next my meeting. So I just want to let you know that's the prices, and we have a contact. So, do you have a quick question?
No, I was gonna say it would be nice to do both rooms,
I want to do both.
so
rooms.
maybe 15 and 15.
I
so
think we
they
should.
come with someone else.
Yeah, I think we should do both rooms.
Usually each each
I agree.
person participating comes with someone else.
So we'll plan it out during our next meeting.
Yeah. 25 and 25?
We're gonna, Vivian, we can just continue the exhibit, because we're gonna talk about it next month meeting.
$37,
37.
I vote to move, item E,
maximum 70 people.
sorry, I know she's trying to catch up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Clary, I made a motion to move, 6E to next meeting. Vivian second, all in favor?
Aye.
60
60.
6E.
So you're doing the same for 7
to next.
And 7A, I motion to move 7A to next meeting. Although,
Even though,
second,
Second.
all those in favor?
aye.
Because that's gonna be something we discussed in anyway. Special needs workshop, just want to give us some input on it.
Yes, I spoke with Dottie, she's the Elderly Affairs Committee, chairperson. And, I know Officer Commodore has spoken to her about our program. So I was thinking maybe we could do a workshop where we invite everyone from the Elderly Affairs Committee. They they go to everything. So, you know, every time they have an event, it's very well attended.
Okay.
So,
So we could make one of our workshops, the workshop on that.
right, and it
You-
could be open to, you know, elderly affairs, to all the committees.
Yeah,
You know, because everyone knows somebody in
Brother,
town,
sister,
a
cousin.
brother, a sister, a
Friend.
grandparent, you know, so I think. You know, it's just an idea and I wanted to like run it by you guys.
I am 100% down for that. I think it's a great opportunity for us to connect with the other committees and let them know how this program works and why they should be in. It's done. Officer Amador has been doing it. Now we can do it on a grand scale with
Maybe we
food,
can,
drinks,
you know,
party,
do
favors.
something else from that and, you know, we have to make.
To be honest,
We have to make sure it's on a night that you're available or an afternoon, I don't know.
well, we have one coming up in January and in March. Which do you prefer? No, our SNAB workshops. We have a workshop in January and in March, based on our calendar. You want to kick the year off with the special needs safety program?
Do we have one for November?
We don't have one for November, no.
There's one that says
We have it, but we didn't get that approved because we haven't gone to council. yet. And it's gonna be way too soon to start it, so I don't suggest we do that.
I would suggest it for January.
Okay, January. Okay, so, does everyone agree on that? January?
Make a motion.
I make a motion to make the special needs safety program the first meeting that we do for the workshop in January.
And to allocate,
How much?
$500 for food, snacks, whatever.
So
Staff,
community
cleanup person, you know, all that.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
You can, if anything, you can edit the motion
Yeah,
next month.
okay, so $500 on the community awareness and, I motion that. Second,
Second,
all those in favor?
I.
Motion passes. Any announcements? We all good? Let's motion to end this event. It is 7:06 PM. All those in favor?